Happy Wednesday to you. Have you ever heard the expression, you gotta spend money to make money? I'm sure you have. As a business owner myself, I know that that is true, but you also have to be careful, right, with the ratios. You don't want to be spending more money than you bring in as a result of your spending money. Well, you can see here how the municipality walks a similar tightrope as a corporation that we all live in. Today is Committee of the Whole meeting day. It's scheduled for tonight at 6 o'clock in the council chambers at Garcelon Civic Center. Hope to see you there. I'm there at every meeting, have been for a couple of years now. Really, what I want to focus on today, as we go through the agenda, I found a really nice segue coming out of yesterday, where we focused on item number 4, the bylaw for D2. That's the new the development incentive for the municipality. That coincides really nicely, I think, as I was reading through the whole report, and I said I wanted to hit other things in the report, but I want to land on the departmental reports. Now, departmental reports are the part of the meeting where the heads of the different departments present their activities and brief council, essentially, on things that are important, things they've been doing, things that they need to know, and upcoming decisions that will likely need to be made. I want to talk today about Future St. Stephen. I'm not sure if you've heard of Future St. Stephen. When I moved here in 2018, I knew about it right away because one of the first people I met who became a friend was the president of Future St. Stephen. And so it is really an important part and a really important piece of St. Stephen, the municipality, and how we develop into the future, hence very aptly named Future St. Stephen. I want to go through briefly with you the department report. So Future St. Stephen right now is looking for a new president. So this has not been prepared by the president. It's been prepared by the board, David Purcell. But there's really important things in here for us to know as residents when it comes to the kinds of things I was talking about yesterday, creating incentives for developers to come here and build. And I mentioned yesterday the money, the cash, the budget line that is set aside to incentivize developers to come and build. We know that housing is in short supply here. There's a lot of demand, which drives up prices. And especially kind of mixed use housing, as I mentioned yesterday when I read the actual bylaw, there's designations around what kinds of housing and facilities, frankly, not just housing, for businesses that we want to see built in St. Stephen. But it's also very important to remember that we also don't want the municipality to have to pay too much for the roads, the water, the sewer, the infrastructure that will ultimately make taxes go up at the same time. So again, hopefully you're getting that sense of that tightrope walk of we need to develop, we don't want to pay too much, but we know that we need it and things like that. And the informational report here, when you click on it, and I've got the link for the agenda in the description here. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, you can click that, and then you see departmental reports, the little paper clip, Future St. Stephen. That'll take you to the report. I know there's a lot of clicking there, and either we got to change that when I'm mayor, or I just explain it really well when I do these videos before and after every meeting so that you can see what's going on. But even just as a regular resident, it took me a while to figure out how to dig up these really informative PDFs by clicking on a little paper clip that's very easy to miss. But let me read you the Future St. Stephen and kind of talk about the report here. First of all, there's a presidential search happening right now, and so they talk about how that's going. It's down to 2 candidates. The hotel project, a lot of people ask about the hotel project, and because Future St. Stephen is the economic development agency for the municipality of St. Stephen, and that's really important for you to know as well, that it is the mandate of Future St. Stephen, this agency, to go out into the world and find developers and people who want to invest and build in St. Stephen. And that's what I was saying about the spend some money to make some money. That's not just true of municipalities saying, okay, we got to build some roads and we got to build some pipes and sewers to get this building in, but also when it comes to tax incentives or tax relief or giving land that belongs to the municipality or that kind of thing. There's different levers that the municipality can use to, as I mentioned, sweeten the deal. And if you're wondering, how this economic development agency is funded, Future St. Stephen, there is a budget line, and it's interesting here at the bottom. It says Future St. Stephen grant is $0, which is interesting that it's on a budget line. But the Economic Development Agency support line, Economic Development Agency support, is $125,000 for this year. So that's money that has been set aside from taxpayer budget to support this agency. If you're wondering what's the Economic Development Agency of St. Stephen, it's Future St. Stephen. And so this is a case where this council has determined to set aside some money to support the operations. I would think. I suppose you could message a counselor and ask for more detail on this specifically. This is where budget lines don't always tell the full story, do they? But we've got $125,000 set aside for Future St. Stephen to do the work of finding developers to come to St. Stephen. So the hotel project, as of this report to be presented tonight in the meeting, is the Amsterdam Inn is submitting artist renderings. And based on conversation with the hotel's developers team, site activity is scheduled to start in April 2026. So that's really important for you to know. And it's easy to miss when we have a town leadership that does not communicate this outside of information buried in a report. That's the kind of thing that I really want to see improved on. And if I'm your mayor, you're going to hear things like this from direct-to-video or posts or appearances like other mayors on CHCO and things like that. Because I am knocking on doors and I'm hearing what's going on with the hotel, and here in the Future St. Stephen report, here it is. But what I really want to talk about is project initiative, housing project initiative taking outreach program to potential housing developers. So Future St. Stephen it is part of their purview here to reach out to, and they have in this document, they're reporting that they've reached out to targeted regional developers, and there's quite a list there. Rising Tides, 10X Properties, Keyline Properties, St. Croix Housing, Capstone Construction, Disher Homes, and they're doing follow-up calls, so it seems like there is some interest, which is good. And then they talk here about how they have been reaching out with the Southwest Service Commission that I did a whole few days on last week about developing zoning. And here it says high density zone land with nearby water sewer access. Nearby. And again, to me, that stands out a little bit because, like I said, I don't think the municipality wants to necessarily be on the hook for any more property taxes as it relates to paving more roads, putting in more lines, that horizontal construction piece. We need more infill, density. Again, those are planning words. We need to build and invest and create more high value neighborhoods where that infrastructure already exists. Now, they also, the last two items on this report are meeting twice monthly with the CAO. So of course that is the person who is in charge of all the staff, right? The CAO is essentially the manager of the municipal activity, the municipal staff. And so they're talking about how they are aligning the vision of Future St. Stephen with priorities of the municipality. So the list here was housing, population retention, small businesses and industry development, the business park, and tourism. Those are, again, I've read to you kind of those six mandates before, and the focus of that with the Southwest Service Commission and things like that. So you see how all these things start to come together when it comes to the Service Commission, municipality, Future St. Stephen. Everyone should be on the same page pulling together. Then they met with the Service Commission, and it's interesting here how there is a note when it comes to the meeting with the municipality. It says priorities may shift after the municipal election. And that, I think, is an important piece where You have all of these agencies, like I said, these entities, some of them provincially mandated. This is, of course, just the way the municipality has set up its economic development agency. We want to be pulling in the same direction, and you're going to be a large part of that. When you elect mayor and a council, what do we feel like needs to be the priority? And I've mentioned before, for me, I really believe that a revitalized downtown, from the reading and research that I do, a revitalized downtown is a beating heart, a crown jewel of a municipality, and everything radiates from there. And that's why we need to stop seeing empty buildings, empty storefronts, rundown properties in the downtown, because there is just so much in terms of high value, the high value of the area, of the neighborhood, really is in the downtown, and everything moves out from there. So this is the kind of thing that you see in terms of money spent, money brought in. Obviously, when you have more economic activity, the municipality can maintain what it has. Again, roads and infrastructure, I've said it before, these things are liabilities because they are always wearing and crumbling. So that means the municipality does need to be growing. It's not just, like I said, growth for growth's sake. This is really important to understand, that roads and infrastructure are always, entropy is taking over, right? These things are always wearing out, which means if your population just stays the same and those things are always wearing out and costs are going up, then property taxes will rise as well. So it is that balance of developing and attracting people to move here and enjoy the beautiful place where we live, and also maintain what we have and continue to improve things, so that St. Stephen continues to stay strong and be beautiful and a place we love to live. Which is why, again, I've chosen Build Up St. Stephen. We need to be building up that infrastructure. We need to be spreading the word about what a great place this is to live, paving roads and building businesses and building housing. And also building up one another. That's really important too, because sometimes as I knock on doors, there does feel like sometimes a sense of a lack of confidence, a lack of trust in what's going on, a very little understanding in how things work, and that's what I'm trying to bring to you today. Okay, so this video is long enough. Tomorrow I will report back on the meeting that is tonight, committee of the whole meeting, and also share with you a little bit more about, again, the agenda, but then I'll be able to give more detail on exactly what was discussed, okay? Thanks for joining me today for this. If you're watching this, you really care about where you live and how things work and the future of St. Stephen. And so buildupststephen.ca, that is my website, where you can check out more about me, the priorities, the commitments, and the action plan of how we make these decisions and move together. Again, drop a comment, help me make this content. If there's something that you want me to make a video of, you've always had questions about, please don't hesitate, because I want to engage in this with you, and I'll see you at your door sometime soon. Thanks, friends. Take care of yourself today and your neighbor, and let's build up St. Stephen together. Cheers.